let me know that you're here. I look forward to your input, and the way that you can communicate in this webinar is via the chat. So as you come in, I think we're just about starting time. Please say hello, tell me where you're from, and anything that you want me to know about your relationship to AI writing and how I can help you. But I've got what I feel is a pretty good, solid presentation. I know that most of you know me and know that I've been something of a trendsetter and media innovator for decades, really my whole professional life. And this AI revolution is really something that has me excited and I think is dramatic and important for us all to understand. And ultimately, I think if you do any kind of marketing, you're going to want to make use of it. So uh, say hello in the chat, please. Let me know where you're from and what you want to get out of this if you feel like sharing that. And I'll just let people arrive for another moment or two, and then we'll start. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So the way that this webinar platform works is that you communicate via chat. Hi, Vince. Great to have you here. So please say hello. Let me know you're here, so I know who is here. And I'll be starting the presentation really in just a second because I believe in starting on time. Peter Klein from Tucson, Arizona. Thank you so much for being here. And Gene, I love that you're here from Providence. Gene is, I'm going to full disclosure, he's from the Wistia company, and we are using the new Wistia Live platform. And I've been learning a ton about it. It's very interesting, and I'm having a good experimental experience. That's a mouthful. Vince is looking for help with titling a documentary film. Beautiful. So yeah, I'm going to show you lots of creative resources. So this is a real revolution, and so there's really going to be two parts to the presentation. I'm going to create some context for you in terms of really setting the stage for what is AI and how is it revolutionizing, in particular, the marketing business and the content creation, writing, all of that. And then I'm going to show you some apps and talk about how do you get the most out of both Chat GPT, and which is of course the thing that is on everybody's lips these days, and also some of the apps that have been built on top of it. Nate, good to see you. Frank Coppola from New York City. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm really excited to share with you, kind of what I've been learning. Anybody that tells you that let's see, I don't think I can move that around. Anybody that tells you that they're not still learning about Chat GPT and AI-based writing is kidding you, because this is all so new and so fresh and happening so fast that we're all learning. But I've been learning a lot, and actually preparing for this webinar has kind of even helped me propel forward. So this is a quick webinar, is a pop-up thing. This has all been created in the last 48 hours, to be completely transparent, although I've been researching it a little bit longer than that. But ChatGPT has really been on the scene, I think maybe 2 weeks. So it can help you very substantially with your marketing writing. Let's see. So I'm going to have to switch back and forth in my presentation. Give me just 1 second. So, as I said, the pace of innovation is really mind-boggling. Scott Galloway, who many of you probably know, posted this to LinkedIn, I think it was yesterday, that ChatGPT saw 1 million users within 5 days versus Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Netflix. Although somebody else pointed out on LinkedIn that really is kind of misleading. Anybody want to throw quickly in the chat why it's misleading? I don't want to take too much time with it, but fundamentally, ChatGPT is global. Facebook started out in a dorm room and was only available to Harvard graduates for a while. Netflix was a paid service. So the comparison is not really accurate, but at the same time, there's never been anything that ever came close to 1 million users in 5 days. So sorry about that. It's I agree with Aaron Levy that the ChatGPT is one of those rare moments in technology where you see a glimmer of how everything is going to be different going forward. And that's a result of the fact that AI is such a huge sea change. People call it a tsunami. And we are now seeing AI incorporated into almost everything. And what ChatGPT did was it showed us a whole new capability that, in a lot of ways, was more than anybody thought was possible in 2023, in December of 2022, actually, when it launched. And of course, it's only going to continue to get better and bigger and more important. So that's the other kind of piece of the background here. And I, congratulate you and thank you for being here for your own sake, as well as whatever our relationship is and how I might be able to benefit. But mostly, I think that you'll find that developing this skill will make you more powerful at the kinds of creativity that you're involved in and the kind of marketing that you're involved in. So it is a true game changer. And one way to have a perspective on that is we're all old enough to remember what it was like before smartphones. And so the smartphones have changed everything. We're all like going crazy with everybody's on their smartphone all the time. AI is being incorporated into every piece of technology and will change the world probably even more dramatically than the way the smartphone has. So that's just to give you a quick piece of perspective. And the other piece of context that I want to set is that, and this obviously, these sizes, this is just a conceptual sketch, but AI is a huge body that encompasses everything from factory automation to self driving cars, on and on and on, many, many, many different applications. Within AI, GPT-3, which is what ChatGPT is based on, is natural language processing, NLP. And within ChatGPT is what I call AI assisted writing. The computer technical term is language generation tasks. But so we have AI in general, we have the GPT-3 technology, of which there are competitors, Google primarily, but there are many other natural language processing models that have accessed and brought into their processing literally terabytes of language, of written data, and then analyzed it and turned it into the ability to write, to create. And then within that GPT-3 language, because it's being used, language processing is being used in many places, and I'll show you multiple applications actually, is AI assisted writing in this piece of creativity that applies specifically to marketing writing. And by that, I mean things like blog posts, emails, social media content, that kind of thing. Is this clear? If you have any questions, again, communicate via the chat, please. So, another way to look at this shift, that David Armano, who's a columnist for Forbes, said that there's an app for that. We used to say in the earlier part of this century that there's an app for that. Now there's an AI for that. And so the AI is being brought to bear to create a whole new generation of applications. And the bottom line, as I always say, and I've been saying for years, in particular about the video marketplace, but all of these technologies and social media also, the toothpaste never goes back in the tube. There are legitimate conversations to be had, and I'll touch on that in a moment, about the dangers of AI and how AI is being applied. And in particular, I'm concerned about how AI will be applied to misinformation. So all of those are things that need to be addressed. Should it be regulated? I think it should be. But whether or not that happens, I'm not a political person to the extent that I can tell you that answer. But it's not going to go back in the tube. The AI is going to be around for a long time. In fact, one of the things that I'm going to go forward and come back. One of the things that Kevin Roose, this writer that I respect in this space, he's a New York Times columnist, talked about is, schools are starting to ban Chat GPT. And this column that you can Google the title, Don't Ban Chat GPT in Schools, that he wrote in the New York Times makes the argument that it's what we bring to it as human beings, how we interact with it, that really is going to determine its fate and what happens culturally, which again is another conversation. I'm here to talk to you about how you can use it to improve your marketing writing and to be more efficient and more productive. But so AI, people think about AI as like this God in a way that it's going to do something to us. It's another tool, just like a computer or software. It's really how we use it. And the other part that I'm going to talk about is that you need to learn how to use it. So I'm going to give you some basic practical tips about how to use chat GPT in particular, but also looking at other apps. Just like using Google, or learning to be a good delegator. Those are two very different answers, but are very two different examples. Because I look at it, I like to say I'm good at the Google because I understand, having done search engine optimization, how Google thinks in a way. And so I'm good at finding what I want to find because I know how to ask Google. So in the same way, how you ask GPT what kind of output you want determines the results that you get. And that's a skill that people are just beginning to get a handle on. But that's a big part of what I'm going to talk about in the second part of this presentation. Same thing within people in corporations or entrepreneurs. Some people are better at delegation than others, and they learn how to recruit. And then once they recruit a talented person, how to onboard them in a way that the team works well together. That's a skill. So I think ChatGPT is a similar thing. And the point that Kevin Roose makes in this column is that banning ChatGPT in schools is a crazy idea because it can't be stopped. Like I said, the toothpaste is not going back in the tube. So we need to learn how to use it. And he makes a good case both that teachers can do their job better and that you can use ChatGPT in a way that improves people's thinking and better prepares the students for the future, which is what I think I'm doing. So let me back up just a minute. So the reality is that AI does make mistakes. And I love another thing. So I've been reading Kevin Roose's book. I was going to throw his title. It's Future Proof as part of the title. One of the chapters or one of the keys that he talks about is to treat AI like your chimp army, which I love because, like I said, AI, as smart as it is and as powerful as it is, really is at your command. And it's what you do and what I do as human beings to hopefully enhance missions that are healthy for the world and healthy for humanity that will make the difference. So if you treat AI like your chimp army, then you won't think it's a God that is doing something to you, and you'll recognize that there's a power there that you can take advantage of. So getting back to where I was, I'm going to take a breath for a second and just look at the chat because John says he's been using ChatGPT a lot to learn more about its limits, and it has been mind blowing. So good. Thank you for the feedback, Frank, that it's clear. So shifting into part two here, and I'm hoping to be done pretty quickly, although I guess we're not in any rush. Hopefully you're finding the information valuable. The keys to effective use of AI assisted writing. And so this is broader than just Chat GPT, but it's all about the questions. And I am introducing you to this term here that has become super powerful, which is called prompt engineering. I saw on TikTok day before yesterday, a woman put up, she said that she's somebody that focuses a lot on AI. And she said this is the first job description that she's seen for a prompt engineer. And her kind of lead or her hook, if you will, was you won't believe what the salary is, which she revealed at the end of the video was 300 to 400,000 a year. Now, obviously, this is a job for a computer scientist, but we are all prompt engineers. If you are using ChatGPT or any of the other AI-based writing tools, you are the one asking the questions. And that really kind of hooks up to the skill conversation I was talking about a second ago. Your skill is to become a good prompt engineer, to write good prompts. And I'm going to talk about specifically what that means. But it goes further, that I'm also going to show you an app in a minute, that prompts have become a marketplace. So it isn't just about you and me kind of as individuals hacking our way to get better results, which is what I've been doing. And I imagine Gene's been doing in terms of the beginning of learning what this tool can do and how it works. But now apps are being built on top of it. And that's the marketing writing apps that I'm going to show you, where rather than you needing to say, I want to write in a persuasive versus a casual language, that's a pull down menu for you to choose. So the prompt engineering is being built into software as well. So I hope that's clear. There's ChatGPT, where you write the prompts and it's up to you to be creative and be specific, and the things that I'm going to talk about in a second. Or you can use software that presets some of that, and I'll show it to you, and prompt engineers for you, if you will, and then you're just really focusing on the content. The other thing that I want to emphasize as a key is that I think that where the power, at least for me as a marketer and as somebody who writes a lot of content for clients as well as for myself, where I'm finding it really valuable is particularly that last thing on the second bullet, the gift of the first draft. I hear a lot of writers, Anne Lamott talks about the power of a shitty first draft. And, I think that's really important in all kinds of writing, that you need a first draft. And then that to me is the hard part. And then once you have a first draft, then you rewrite and rewrite and rewrite, and in some cases test the various versions that you come out with. So what ChatGPT does in a major way is gives me a first draft. So I'll give you an example. I have a client that sells a Candida probiotic treatment for people with intestinal disorder called Candida overgrowth. And so I said to ChatGPT, you are an email marketing expert. Write an email for people who suffer from Candida overgrowth, talking about the fact that this company offers free tests. So I was really specific and laid it out. And then ChatGPT gave me a draft. And that's the thing is brainstorming and idea generation. And I came away with a great draft, first draft that then I could rewrite and customize, optimize, whatever you want to call it, in terms of my mind as a creative director. But getting that first draft done literally in 30 seconds, 60 seconds max is a boon, because it moves the football down the field, if you will, so much more quickly than I ever could do before. So those, I think, are the two big keys that if you want to take anything away, take those two things away, that it's how you ask the questions and using it as a brainstorming tool to get your first draft done so that then you can refine and get what you really want exactly. I mean, it does require the human skill of knowing what you want and being enough of a marketing strategist in this case to say, well, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. So that AI is not going to do that for you. You have to still bring that human skill to the party. So how do you write an effective ChatGPT prompt? Here are my key tips that you can take away and use. The first thing is that you want to offer context. Like in my example, I said, or I tell the ChatGPT, you're a marketing writer, you're an email marketing writer, you're a expert in this subject, whatever it is, and the audience is such and such. And I want you to write in a friendly, persuasive tone about fill in the blank. The more specific you can be, and that's the second tip, is that, the more details you give it, the more customized the output that you're going to get. So create a context and then be super specific. And you can even provide examples, like, for example, I like this, I don't like that, don't do this, don't do that. And there also is techniques so you can train it to write in your voice and have it analyze your voice. And it'll come back with, your voice is humorous, casual, da 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 da. And then next time you request something from them, if you want it in your voice, you say, write this in a humorous, casual, voice. Incredibly powerful that it can do that, but it can. And then the other thing is, don't forget to tell it, I want this to be 300 words. I want this to be 500 words. I want this to be an essay. I'm going to show you how to do something even longer. And I've given you a reference here that I can throw in the chat, which is one of the sources. I've done some research about how to do it. So this is the article that I pulled those tips out of and kind of reorchestrated them. Is that Zapier thing? I will take that off for you, Frank. That's a good point. I see now that I'm over. I'm going to remove myself from the stage. So yeah, offer context, be super specific, provide examples, or train the voice about how you want it, and define your length. Those are the three things. Thanks for that feedback. I have to be looking at Keynote, which is the presentation software that I'm using. So the other thing that I think, we're all, like I said, we're all still learning about this. But what I recommend is exploring and experimenting and playing. That's how I learn. So there are AI-based writing apps, including ChatGPT, but your homework is go out there and play and explore. So again, we're looking at a small piece of the AI universe. And these are, I said 3 app options. There are 4 app options because I threw prompt-based in at the end. These are 4 of the things you can explore, and let me show them to you. So I'm myself back on stage. Hopefully you can see me now. Yeah, let me switch the screen sharing because I have it set up for you to at least show you a quick overview of what these apps look like. And then depending on your Q&A, I know I've run a little bit longer than I thought I was going to. We can play, we can experiment. So how many of you have seen ChatGPT and how many haven't? Why don't you tell me that in the chat real quick? And I don't see that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so here's ChatGPT, and I am going to keep myself off to the side like this so that I don't block it. One of the big things that's been going on with ChatGPT is that it's so busy and so popular, they're expanding as fast as they can. But let's see, if I write in here, I'm sorry, you are a marketing writer. Anybody got a subject for me real quickly? Write a 300-word blog post about how small businesses can best benefit social media. Benefit from, right? I don't know. So Vince has not seen it before. Frank Coppola wants it about cereal. So here we are, a 300-word blog post about social media and small business, just as a quick example. It's pretty legit. Small businesses can greatly benefit from using social media as a marketing tool. Not only is it cost effective, but it also allows for targeted advertising and increased brand awareness. First and foremost, it's clean writing, and for me, that's the ultimate kind of benefit, is that I could hire a writer to do the first draft of this blog post, or I could sit and work on it for God knows how much time, and there it is. In conclusion, small businesses can greatly benefit. It's a marketing tool. It's cost effective, yada, yada. I'm not going to read the whole thing out loud. So, and Frank says, holy crap. Okay. we're helping people see what's going on. So let me turn that screen share off. And now I'm going to show you the first writing tool that I looked at, which is copy.ai. So you can see already that we're within a different world. And I'm not going to demo this one from you because I soured on it pretty quickly, but I like the interface. You can see that there are workflow tools, there are product descriptions, blog tools, email tools, social media tools, even within social media, bullet points, YouTube videos, hashtag generator. So this is a marketing app that's built on top of Chat GPT. But in the interest of time, I'm going to move on in my demo and I'm going to show you so the things that turn me off about copy.ai is it's fairly expensive, like $49 a month to start. And they have a 7,000 word limit for that money. And I tested a couple of times. I used 1,000 words generating, two things because I asked it for 3 variations. That is something that you can ask ChatGPT as well as what's built into this software. You can say, give me 3 versions of that, which speaks to your question, Vince, about wanting a headline or a name for something. You can say, give me 10 names and then specify all the pieces. But anyway, that 7,000 word limit within a $49 a month application was kind of a deal breaker for me. And then the same friend actually from Denmark, Renee, I'm not going to butcher his last name, turned me on to Writer. So this is RYTR writer.me. And it also has a whole bunch of things that we can look at. Job descriptions, keyword extractor, all that stuff. In fact, this magic command is, I think I can demo that for you pretty quickly. So let's say we're going to write a product. I don't know what your product that you wanted to name, Vince, is, but also notice we can write it in whatever language we want to write it in, which is in itself pretty insane. And then we also can select the tone we want, which is, I'm enthusiastic, so I'm going to choose that. And my product is a course on how to use AI based. Oh, it's limiting me to 25. So a course on AI writing. And then it wants 500 characters about, the more information, again, you give it, the better. But I'm going to say, learn how small business can leverage the power of AI based writing tools. Understand prompt engineering. Hard to type when people are watching you type. That's good enough. I said 2 variants, and I don't know why anybody would choose anything other than creativity. So are you looking to propel your business to the next level? Look no further than our course on AI writing, our comprehensive. Or are you ready to take your writing to the next level? Sound familiar? Because that's something that I used actually. But so this gives you a taste of another tool. And then the last thing that I want to show you is something that I also discovered off of TikTok, which is a whole marketplace in prompts. So I actually pulled something up. So PromptBase is a new website that actually sells prompts. So the prompts, as I was talking about with prompt engineering, have become such a significant part. And full disclosure, or really to give you the full perspective, this PromptBase is largely Let me see if I just go back. Yeah. So it's largely, DALL-E, Midjourney, and the graphic prompts. And so people are selling prompts to be able to generate, for example, these kind of letters or this kind of psychedelic in Midjourney. So the prompts to describe, to get a result that you find attractive, are so valuable that now they're being sold generally for $2, $3 a piece. And then because this little webinar is about writing, I chose this one, which is a ChatGPT prompt that basically details a story. So it's giving you the chapter list, it's giving you the characters and so forth. So this is a $3 prompt to generate an entire story structure from beginning to end. And it's quite anyway. That's just another perspective on where prompts are going and how important they are. So that's a quick overview of. Let me just go back here for 1 second and share with you my presentation and say thank you. So that's what I'm up to, and that's about what I could do in a half hour, right? Um, so hopefully that's useful, and I want to open the chat up to questions, and anybody wants any further demos or ideas, I'm happy to play. But how was that? What do you think? Is it useful? Is it something that you can put to use? And most importantly, I want you to go out there and experiment and play and see what you can do, because this stuff's not going away. It's only going to get bigger. Thank you, Gene. I'm glad you find it eye-opening. Frank found it amazing. Yeah, ask a question, please, Frank. That's what I'm here for. So this is the Q&A. It's all open. Just chat me your questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Like I said, I'm still learning about all this, but let me know what you think. Mind opening. Yes. What's your question? Anybody else has questions? Bring them on. But whoo, I can't. That was interesting to prepare as well as to deliver at the same time that I'm learning about this Wistia platform. Yes, there will be a replay URL. In fact, one of the cool things that I like about the Wistia Live platform is the same URL that you use to get here, which is the same one that you use to register. As soon as we stop and the Wistia engine has, probably 15, 30 minutes, I don't know, something like that, to process the recording will be up and available at the exact same link. So I don't even have to send you a link. It's right there. So Frank wanted to know, he heard that there's software that does AI music. So yes, there's both libraries of AI generated music tracks. And if you want, I might have to bring Gene's expertise in here, because I'm not sure. Let me look. I could show you. I can send you separately, Frank. Share tab audio. So yeah, I can share the audio. So if you guys want, um, I can show you something, Frank, because I actually just saw. So I'm learning a lot about this stuff on TikTok, and TikTok is another subject that I have done webinars about. And in fact, on my videocreator.me website, there's a webinar about why TikTok for business totally makes sense. I think it's a very low price, but if anybody that came to this today as a special offer wants to see my TikTok webinar, I'm happy to provide you a code to watch that for free. Just let me know. But anyway, I saw someone on TikTok, I think it was yesterday, these two young men who said, we're going to test out this AI generating music thing. And they said, oh, it takes so long to come back. Like they had to wait a couple hours. But they gave it a whole bunch of specific things for the piece of music that they wanted. And sure enough, they got a quite sophisticated track that was blowing their minds. So that's kind of the bottom line, is that yes, this same thing exists for music and will continue to be more and more available for music. In terms of your question, yeah, Wistia, it's WISTIA. I can put that in the chat for you. They're a really interesting company that I've been a customer of for a long time. They're a B2B video hosting company. So they allow you to develop your video assets. Like the recording of this webinar will be immediately available in my Wistia library. It's more of a competitor to Vimeo than it is to YouTube. But a lot of people use both of those services to host videos. When you host your video on Wistia, you have the ability to customize the player. You have the ability to put a lead capture turnstile right inside the video and a bunch of other features. So it's for, like I said, B2B customers who really want to have a video marketing strategy and implement that by developing video assets in a video library and that can be shared across the organization and leveraged to the max. So it's they do a really good job. And one of the things that's interesting, I'm shooting with my iPhone because I wanted better quality on this video. The quality of the video, at least in my tests, and I'm confident is going to be the case, is better than what you would see coming off of a Zoom webinar. But yeah, they're a video company. If hopefully that answers it for you. Gene is sharing another tool that helps designers create creatives to create creatives. I guess creative briefs is what you mean about products with just simple prompts. Um, and that's cool. Yeah, there. And I meant to say there are dozens of these tools now, and probably going to, if not hundreds. And I think like apps on the phone, I used that metaphor before. There will be thousands, if not millions, of AI apps coming down the road. Um, Frank, your question: you imagine also AI can write lyrics? Chat GPT can write lyrics phenomenally well. Um, and the more you tell it about the style you want, the better. It can write limericks. It can write Shakespearean sonnets. You can tell I want a Shakespearean sonnet about riding the number one subway in New York and whatever you think, whatever characteristics about the subway you want included. For example, so yeah, it writes lyrics, it writes songs. You can say, "Give me a Bob Dylan style, uh, you know, politically relevant song about the war in Ukraine," and it will do it. Okay, there you go. So, any other questions? This is good. I really appreciate you all being here. It's awesome that you took the time to be here live. Thank you for everybody who has watched this long that's watching the recording. I really love this kind of thing. I've been, a friend of mine called me a trend spotter the other day, and it's kind of sticky. Oh, yeah, I guess that is something that I do. And this trend, you didn't have to be a rocket scientist to establish that ChatGPT and AI writing is a trend, but it's fun to learn about it and to be able to share about it. I'll read Gene's comment. When it comes to the webinar capabilities, Zoom webinars is, of course, a competitor in the space, but we think that we offer a lot more in our tool than you'd find in Zoom. The ability to host, record, edit, share your webinar recordings all in one place. So Gene again is from Wistia, and I think that all in one place is one of the big advantages. Yeah, the quality is different. The way that the presentation works is definitely different, and for sure the whole recording and back end is very different. So um, that's something we'll be getting into in the future. I think I did a full disclosure in the email invitation to the webinar, but I have a promotional relationship with Wistia, and I'm going to be producing video content for them, including a review of this Wistia Live. I put this together in part, full honesty, and just to really, put it through its paces and learn how it works and what works for me and what doesn't and so forth. How well the footwork with a Yoast SEO. Um, so, hi, Judah. Good to see you, or good to hear you anyway. It certainly can SEO optimize content. So, and it can pull out keywords, it can recommend keywords. Yoast SEO is a whole different kind of a tool. But within the writing tools like Copy.ai and Writer, there are keyword optimization functions already built in. And I believe ChatGPT can do some of that too, but that's the kind of thing that if you're really into SEO is worth experimenting with. Uh, How well does it work with Toast WordPress? Well, I want to answer that. I don't really know Toast. I know the Yoast SEO. Maybe that's what you mean, but it's a separate workflow, and that's something that anybody that is working SEO, and that's another subject because I'm not a big fan of SEO these days, although it's not a bad thing. I just would put more of a priority on getting yourself on TikTok, for example, and building an email list, for example. Um, but the the reality is that these tools are being integrated into other tools. So you're talking about WordPress website authoring platform. You know, that's an ecosystem of its own, and you will see, I predict, in 6 months max, a WordPress plugin that brings AI writing capabilities based on GPT-3 into WordPress. A more immediate example is I'm a big fan of the Descript video editing app. I'll probably do another webinar at some point because it's a groundbreaking video editing app, Descript, Descript, and they recently got an investment from OpenAI, the same company that did ChatGPT, about integrating AI tools. It's a what the power of Descript is that it's a transcript based video editor. So you put the video in, it auto generates a transcript, and then you can edit where you said your ums and ahs, for example, and just lift the ums and ahs out. You can edit then, oh, this paragraph wasn't good, this paragraph, and edit based on the transcript, not having to listen to every piece of video in order to edit it. And they're bringing AI tools into Descript. I don't know exactly all the functionality of that, but another thing that's going on that you may be aware of is the ability to generate. I mean, Descript already has the ability to learn your voice. And if you make a mistake in the recording, if I said sometimes when I meant somewhere, I can have it use my voice to insert the word somewhere when I said sometime seamlessly. That is then going to be extended, or already has been. There's apps for this already, where you can take your own face or you can take a AI generated face and animate them saying whatever you want with your voice. So there's a whole new dimension. And that, of course, plays into the misinformation issue, which is a very real issue. Um, but anyway, so the answer is all of that's happening. So Frank is asking to clarify. Um, Please clarify Wistia. Wistia is a video. Use the Wistia platform as a backend to deliver video. Maybe that's a good way to say it. Even better than hosting is that Wistia specializes in video delivery and in both video recording and then building a video library and being able to customize the player and embed that within your website and a whole bunch of other features. AI and ChatGPT is a whole other thing. Like I showed you in that chart with I could bring it back up really quickly, but there's the whole field of AI and GPT-3 within that, and then AI-based writing inside of that. Wistia doesn't have anything to do with that. Wistia is just the video platform that I'm using to deliver this webinar. So hopefully that takes care of it. Vince is saying that my video quality has degraded. I don't know about that. But anyway, Frank got it. Any other questions? Or I think we're kind of coming close to 45 minutes, which certainly is even more than I thought I might do. I blabbed on, but I hope you got a lot of value and a lot of use. And all of you know how to get in touch with me. So if there's anything else I can do for you or you have any follow up questions, let me know. But again, just go to the same URL that you came to today. Or if you didn't come, well, I can't talk to you then. But anyway, the same URL that you used to register and that if you came today used will have the recording. What do you think, Gene? Within the hour? Probably within the hour easily, I think. So I think that's it. No last question. Nobody else is commenting about the video degradation. So we'll see you in the recording. But again, thank you so much for taking the time. It's my pleasure. And I loved kind of being able to summarize all this. And I hope you get a lot out of it. And let me know what you do and how it goes for you and how you experiment. And Vince, if you want to talk about naming whatever it is you want to name, let me know. I will put a plug in for my TikTok channel because I've got one of my most popular videos talked about how I combine ChatGPT with something called the CoSchedule Headline Studio. And Headline Studio is really separate from ChatGPT, so I didn't cover it today. But it's a tool that I'm using to brainstorm subjects for emails, headlines for webinars, name for webinars. The name of this webinar was something that I processed or kind of brainstormed along with Headline Studio. And it's a tool that I really like to use. So Judah said the screen froze briefly, but it's back. And that might not be Wistia's fault. That might be my camera's fault. So anyway, great. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you being here. Bye for now. And I look forward to hearing from you.